I know better to ask you to put anything in historical context because you are an in-the-moment person about this stuff, but in the moment, what does it feel like to be in your 8th straight finals, 9th overall?
I don't know, I'm a loss for words, but it's a blessing to be able to be a part of the big stage. And this is the biggest stage that you can get in our sport, and that's the finals. It's the Super Bowl, it's the Stanley Cup, it's the World Series, it's the finals, and I've been a part of it for 8 straight years.
Do you remember that moment with Tim Duncan after your first finals in 2007 in the hallway?
We're going to drive these guys. This is going to be your league in a little while. But I appreciate you giving us this year.
I will never forget that moment. At that point in time, obviously, I didn't want to hear that. You know, they had just swept us on our home floor, but, you know, the better team won, obviously. And I was young, but you know, just to be able to go through experiences like I've always talked about, you know, the best teacher in life is experience. So I've been able to experience so much to always to get me to this point.
Plus, I mean, that vest you were wearing, we might have to
Yeah. Back fashion was definitely not a huge thing in my repertoire back then.
You did have to play 2 Game 7s to get here, including one on the road. So the odds weren't with you that you would necessarily be here. Did you let yourself think at any point, I'm not going to make it?
Well, the odds have not been with us all season. You know, even if you start back to the summertime when I felt like it was just bad for our franchise to be able to trade away our superstar, you know, point guard. Obviously, I wasn't part of the communications and know what exactly went on between the two sides, but I just felt like it was bad timing for our team to just get rid of our point guard, you know, and Kyrie Irving. So, you know, I felt like the odds was against us, you know, from the summer. We just had so many things going with our team. We shuffled in different lineups. We shuffled in different players. We made a trade at the deadline, and I can't sit here right now and say that that the finals was a part of my thinking. It was not. And even when you saw me at one point early in the season, I think it was in December or January, and you was looked at me like, okay, come on now, I know you, what you doing. And it's crazy because right before you seen me, I had already kind of hit that switch. I was like, okay, I'm not quite sure what we're going to do with this ball club. We're not playing good basketball, but you can't sell yourself short. But to sit here, I can't even lie to you. Sit here and say will we be a part of the finals? I would be definitely lying to you if I said yes, we would be in the finals in January, February.
Yeah, you didn't think that was the case at all.
It was at points where it was like, okay, will the Cavs even make the playoffs? You know, and I was like, okay, I'm not selling it for that conversation. Now that's ridiculous. Now I got to get into the postseason, and I've always said, if I get into the postseason, no matter if I'm a 1 seed or 8 seed, or in this case a 4 seed, I believe that we can do something. And look at it, we did something. We did something.
Now that you are here, you guys are not favored to win this title. In fact, the odds betting against you from Vegas are the worst they have been in 16 years, which means they are giving you even longer odds than your 2017. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, I think how resilient we've been in this postseason. We can lay our hat on that, and we're going to go through some tough times throughout this finals appearance. I know. I just know from being a part of the finals for 8 straight years. I know with playing this team now for the 4th straight years, how much havoc and how much anxiety they cause, and then just being in the moment, you know, at times.
Whatever happens here in this finals, are you comfortable with what it says about you or your legacy or any of that?
Well, can I be comfortable? I'm never comfortable. I've gotten better with understanding that conversations are going to be conversations no matter what. You know, and it's so weird in that people kind of categorize like individuality and then team, and then take away one individual and say, okay, well, if you're that good, you should be able to beat that team. You know, and I think a lot of that conversation that bothers me a little bit, but it is what it is.
You mentioned earlier in this interview about not wanting Kyrie Irving to be traded.
Yeah.
You actually made a phone call and said, I don't want this trade to happen.
Yeah.
Ownership decided to make the trade anyway. They decided that part ways with GM David Griffin, which is another thing you said you didn't want to have happen. What is the relationship with you and Dan Gilbert right now?
Well, I mean, our relationship has always been a working relationship. For me personally, I've always tried to do, you know, since I come back to this franchise, to try to put this franchise at a level that is always seen in a positive light. When you see the Cavs logo, I want you to think as a very prestiged and, you know, great organization. So, you know, it's not about, you know, me and Dan You know, we have a great working relationship. You know, I think it's worked out for us both in these 4 years so far since I've been back.
How much is ownership going to play a part in your free agency decision?
I mean, we're gonna see. We'll see.